It is declared that even Odhiambo Kidero, the fourth respondent hearing, and Jonathan Mweki, the fifth respondent hearing, were not validly elected.
Ejected twice in 1 week, now court nullifies Kidero's election.
When we speak, the people of Kenya have spoken. And when the people of Kenya speak, Mr. Speaker, the big ones, like Governor Ombara, have spoken.
Ile kesi wametufanyia sisi watu wa Embu. Kwanza tunashukuru sana. Tulikuwa tumengojea.
Ombora's second impeachment, what next for Embu County?
What are you hiding? Kimayo targets vehicles with tinted windows.
And return of El Nino, where the men warn of impending disaster.
This is KTN Prime with Linda Ogutu and Ben Katili.
Clearly, a lot has been happening in the country. Let's break it down for you. We begin here in Nairobi. And the big blows came from two arms of government, one from the courts, the other from parliament. But in the end, two governors are out of office tonight, at least for now.
Martin Nyaga Wambora, who made history by becoming the first governor to be removed from office, has been impeached a second time, this time with almost no chance of a comeback.
And in the courts, Evans Odhiambo Kidero, the Nairobi governor, lost his seat after the Court of Appeal nullified his election.
We are covering for you the two stories in all their dimensions, and we begin here in the capital, Nairobi, with Wilson Mburu, who is covering for us the dramatic turn of events in the law courts.
This was the scene on the streets of Nairobi after a three-judge bench nullified the election of Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero. Former Embakasi Member of Parliament Ferdinand Waititu, who was Kidero's opponent during the March 4th election, appealed a decision by the High Court which had upheld Kidero's election. In the September 2013 judgment, Judge Richard Mwongo had then argued that although partial scrutiny of votes in several polling stations proved some irregularities, the magnitude was not sufficient to tilt the outcome of the election and deny the voters their choice. But Justices GPM Kariuki, Mohamed Warsame and Peter Kiage have now overturned that decision, arguing that Waititu did not get a fair ruling at the High Court. They specifically pointed out that the returning officers in Nairobi were not cross-examined and the votes were not scrutinized. An elated Waititu expressed his satisfaction with the court's decision.
Those people who prayed for me, for this time who stood with me with the prayers, I also wish to thank my advocates and also thank the judiciary for standing firm to the truth. The governor's election was stolen and the judiciary have upheld that, and I want to reassure all Nairobians that I will work with everybody when I'm elected the governor.
Kidero's tenure as the capital city governor has been the subject of scrutiny for the year he has been in office, with Nairobians expressing mixed reactions over his performance.
So far so good. Amejaribu kufanya mambo kadha of it, kuna mambo mengine yafaa angalie.
Kuna kitu anafanyia county. Anafanyia central government.
This is going to be given time to work with these investors very well. I know we are going to make Nairobi a better place to be.
In party politics, Kidero has been the subject of major suspicion from ODM leadership and supporters who feel that he could be working for the Jubilee government to destabilize court. These suspicions deepened after he accompanied President Uhuru Kenyatta to China, where he secured an 87.4 billion shillings deal with the China Investment Bank. Kidero said the money will rehabilitate old county houses in Eastlands and streamline transport system. To date, a progress report on the Chinese funding is still awaited. As for now, Kidero still has the option of going to the Supreme Court to appeal against the appeal court's decision. Wilson Mburu, KTN, Nairobi.
So that story by Wilson Mburu forms the basis of a big question tonight, and we're asking you, do you think the position of governors in the new constitution is now under threat?
So 2 judges of the Court of Appeal agreed with Ferdinand Waititu's petition, while the third one rubbished it. Tell us what you think. SMS your yes or no opinion to the number 22155. You can also tweet us at Ben_Kitili, at Linda Ogutu, and the hashtag is Governors Day Out.
So we can have a conversation using the hashtag as well.
Yes.
Great. Let's stay with that particular line, and not too far away from the courts. Embu Governor Martin Wambora got his second marching orders from the Senate after he failed to show up for the hearing.
The Senate found Wambora guilty of violating procurement and public finance management laws and gross violation of the Constitution.
And as our senior political reporter Sam Ogina explains, Wambora will now not be able to hold any public office for at least 10 years.
"35 senators ejected the beleaguered Embu governor from office for the second time after the courts overturned his early impeachment in February. The slight reprieve might now turn to be a costly affair in the long run for Wambora. The governor may be gone for 2 successive elections. Only Baringo Senator Gideon Moi rejected, sending Wambora packing.
What we're going to do and how we're going to vote is going to affect Governor Wambora. Be knowing that once we impeach him, for 10 years, he cannot hold a public office at all, including even a cattle dip chairman or member, nothing.
When we speak, the people of Kenya have spoken. And when the people of Kenya speak, Mr. Speaker, the big ones, like Governor Wambora, have spoken.
We are dealing with a different matter and with a committee that was established by this House. Mr. Speaker, it's understandable that if you are facing the situation that the Governor Wambora was facing, you would definitely engage in what we call forum shopping.
The governor is accused of corruption and violation of the Constitution. Wambora is indicted of purchasing maize seeds that did not germinate contrary to the type requested. He also faced the charge of undertaking the facelift of Embu Stadium unilaterally without involving the requisite departments and acquiring a personal vehicle using public funds.
The moment you are caught, Mr. Speaker, you must face the music.
That we have to get it right. That we have to set the standards of devolution to be high.
Since this is the first governor to be impeached twice and the first governor to walk away from his fate, we might as well help him to walk away from his seat because he doesn't deserve to be a governor of any county in this republic.
Wambora decried facing the same special committee of the Senate that had impeached him, claiming it was hell-bent on returning the same verdict. But the High Court refused to shield the embattled governor from facing his fate.
It is not the magnitude, the amount we are dealing with. It's about whether that principle has been breached, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, however small it is.
Despite abstaining from the vote that did Wambora in, Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti, who has tried to reconcile the governor with his constituents, admitted the animosity was beyond reconciliation and impeachment was inevitable. The leader denying financing the ejection drive.
If my friend makes a mistake, if he is accused of doing wrongdoing, if he is given the chance to come and defend himself and he chooses not to, what else do I have to do?
It is Kiretu Murungi and the Senator Reni Kivuti who have masterminded and engineered the impeachment of Governor Wambora because he defected from our party. Mr. Speaker, sir, nothing could be far from the truth.
The Senate insulated MCAs from campaigns to enhance the impeachment threshold. Senators arguing MCAs were acting within their purview.
We must continue disciplining the executive, whether at the national level or at the county level, so that the executive can be the servants of the people of Kenya and not the rulers of the people of Kenya.
It is a double setback for the besieged governor after the High Court declined to stop his impeachment. Samogina, KTN.
And so in Wambora's county of Embu, opinion remains divided over the historic impeachment. Some residents said it was time the matter was concluded once and for all, while others felt that the man should have been allowed to stay on. KTN's Carol Nderi reports from a county now facing an intriguing political future.
Embu County, where the spotlight has been as the first county to impeach its governor, Martin Nyaga Wambora, has received blow after blow since it all began. The Speaker of the Embu County government, Mate Kariuki, says Wambora is responsible for his own woes.
But it is not the county government of Embu that was on trial. It was Governor Martin Wambora who was on trial. And let us not confuse facts. Wambora is down, but the government is not down. The government is running.
Kariuki told KTN that he himself has been persecuted by the governor's allies, but he insists that the Senate's decision has vindicated the county assembly in impeaching the embattled governor.
Issues that led to their impeachment or their commencement of impeachment proceedings against the governor were real, active, and valid.
This is where it all began at the Embu County Assembly, where members of the County Assembly decided they'd had enough of the alleged claims of misappropriation of funds and corruption from Governor Wambora, and the residents of Embu perhaps anxious now to know what next. Some of the members of the Embu County Assembly that we spoke to, the very ones who impeached Wambora twice, insisted that Wambora's departure from the helm of Embu County was long overdue.
We have to say no to corruption.
Sometimes we have to swallow the bitter pill for success to occur. Yeah.
Don't think whether there's anything to do with witch-hunting. The thing was purely administration.
I think what has happened today is the greatest test of devolution in this country.
Let me say to the people of Embu, it's a success. Those people who are rumor-mongering that we hate the governor, we do not hate him as a person. But it was important for us to have a better start.
To me, this is not a win for Embu alone. It is a win for every Kenyan who voted for this constitution.
Some of the residents appeared to be in a jubilant mood, saying court cases had taken up the time that should have been used for development in the region. However, some expressed their displeasure at the turn of events.
Sapoti sana kwa ile kesi wametufanyia sisi watu wa Embu. Kwanza tunashukuru sana. Tulikuwa tumengojea.
Watu wamehuzunika wengi kwa sababu kuna watu wako wanataka vita ama nini. Kwa hivyo tungeomba ma MCAs wajue walichaguliwa pia na watu, wafanyie watu kazi, waache siasa nduni ambazo hazina kazi kwa sasa.
The speaker sought to assure the people of Embu that there was no power vacuum and county operations would proceed smoothly.
IEBC, first of all, to declare a vacancy in the office of the governor and to swear in Dorothy as the governor, and also give us a way forward in terms of how we get a new deputy governor.
It is not yet clear what Wambora's next step will be. Carol Nderi for KTN in Embu County.
Mixed reactions from the county of Embu and also from the county of Nairobi. We are waiting to hear from you. The hashtag is Governors Day Out. Tell us what you think. Let's now shift gears to something that might concern you a bit more personally if you drive. Does your car have tinted windows? Well, be warned because police could soon be coming for you. That follows a new directive by Inspector General of Police David Kimayo. KTN's Patrick Amimo reports on the directive that is supposed to take effect immediately.
Police say they have arrested some suspects who are helping them with investigations over the recent twin blasts targeting public service vehicles in Nairobi and Mombasa. Through spokespersons of the National Police Service, the Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, said the war on terror was on course.
We have crucial hints which are likely to lead to arrest and subsequent prosecution of the concerned culprits.
As the war against terrorist activities intensifies, Kimayo has directed police to impound all vehicles with tinted windows.
All vehicles with tinted windows to be impounded with immediate effect.
A spot check by the KTN crew revealed that many private motorists in the city have their car windows tinted. Reaction was mixed on Kimayo's directive on tinted windows and the war against terror.
Ni sawa tu kuondolewa na and then isiwe ni jambo la dharura haraka namna hiyo. Ni vizuri pia wapewe muda.
If the police says so, we have to follow the instruction. And we are going to remove the tint if it's necessary because the security is more important than anything.
I don't have any comment.
Hapana, Mr. Comment, don't comment. Usiniweke bro.
The police were not clear on how vehicles with factory-fitted tinted windows should be dealt with.
Gari yoyote ambayo itakuwa imewekwa ukungu mzito zaidi itashikwa, lakini tutaanza na gari za abiria kwa vile sasa gari za kibinafsi tutaanza na gari za abiria kwa vile hapo ndio kuna matatizo, lakini pia tunaelewa kwamba gari za kibinafsi nyinginezo huenda kawa zinatumika pia vibaya.
Mimi maoni yangu naona hiyo iko kabisa itolewe, kwa sababu wezi wengi wanatumia advantage ya kuchukua hizo magari ziko na tint. Mimi maoni yangu naona hivyo Kimambo amesema is the best thing.
Tunaona hiyo sheria inakuwa ngumu kwa sababu kuna wengine ambao labda vioo vyao havijawekwa tinti. Labda ni gari imetengenezwa hivyo kutoka kwao huko Ulaya. Sasa uwezi ukajitetea, watakupeleka tu ndani. Wakijachunguza baadaye huna makosa.
Police in neighboring Somalia mid last month banned the use of cars with tinted windows in Mogadishu, claiming they are a threat to security. The Somali police boss ordered arrest of those found driving vehicles with tinted windows because such vehicles have been used in terror attacks in the past. The Kenya police action could as well be informed by what is happening in Mogadishu. This is not the first time the police is issuing directives for vehicles with tinted windows to remove them or be impounded. In 2012, the police attempted to do it, but the courts overturned the orders. Patrick Amimo, KTN, Nairobi.
There has been a lot of reaction on that directive, and of course, lots of it was coming in from Twitter. Let's see how that story pans out in the coming days. Elsewhere, the weatherman says Kenya could soon be grappling with huge rainfall and flooding following predictions of an impending El Nino. Meteorological centers around the globe are warning that the devastating weather phenomena could emerge in a few months. KTN's Rita Tinina reports. El Nino rains have previously wreaked havoc in the country. The last time was in 2009. Now, experts are warning that what has been dubbed as the little boy of the ocean could soon be back. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts that there is a 58% chance of an El Nino. Different weather centers studying various models are agreed on that one.
And there is general consensus in about 2/3 of the models which are projecting that we could see what we call an El Nino or a warm phase of the ends or setting in later on in the year.
According to the preliminary predictions, the El Nino could set in the months of June, July and August, and Kenya is keeping a close eye.
We are watching closely, we are looking at the situation as it develops, and in due course we should be able to give you the full information.
More specific predictions are expected in a month's time. And even as the country keeps watch, the Kenya Meteorological Department is calling for caution.
People need to be careful because on occasion you've had a watch and then the El Nino later on aborts. It doesn't develop into an El Nino towards the end of the year. That's why for now we are calling it kind of a watch. We are looking at the situation as it develops.
Heavy rains and flooding with devastating effects have characterized previous El Ninos. The Meteorological Department says certain areas will be hit really hard if an El Nino occurs.
The counties of the northeastern, Mandera, Garissa, Wajir, and also the coastal areas, particularly areas just around the coast. This would be areas like Lamu, Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale counties, and also the Ukambani counties. These will be Kitui, Makueni, and Machakos. These are the areas that are highly impacted.
The country's traditional weather patterns have in recent years been erratic, with early, delayed or deficient rains and prolonged dry spells. And El Nino will no doubt further disrupt the climatic conditions, not just here in Kenya, but across the globe, if the predictions by experts come to pass. Rita Tinina, KTN.
So the mother of all floods is coming with the El Nino predictions. Down in Kenya's food basket regions, the Ministry of Agriculture is carrying out an assessment of the impact of the recent drought that hit parts of the North Rift. What are farmers to do now? Our North Rift reporter Mercy Kandi had a chat with some of them earlier today.
The poor state of farms in the North Rift region is as a result of rain shortage, what has caused the Ministry of Agriculture to carry out assessment of the germination process. Some farms recording germination as low as 30%.
Which is a very worrying trend because yields is about plant population. when you don't get the right yields, it means when you don't get the right plant population within a unit area, then it means that the yield actually is going to be depressed.
Dr. Cyril Cheruyot, Uasin Gishu County Executive for Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, says they have written to the national government requesting for 310 million shillings for replanting in some farms. Uasin Gishu grows 92,000 hectares of maize.
Fertilizer, we will require about 170 million, and seed, maize or alternate crops to the tune of about 140 million.
Local and global weather experts are warning of an El Nino phenomenon that could hit many parts of the world in about 2 months, including East Africa. Wheat farmers would be the worst affected, while maize farmers would have it tough while harvesting.
The product from Munga, the product from Dola, is all over this country. So it means when we are affected, Kenya is actually affected here.
This comes as farmers in the region count losses due to elongated dry spell after planting, and also expressing fear of poor yields at the end of the season.
Nimetumia rasilimali yote yenye nilikuwa naye, nikapanda mahindi. Sasa sina cha kutegemea tena.
Farmers are being advised to take up insurance policies. The North Rift is the country's strategic region, largely relied on for food security. It leads in production of maize, wheat and dairy products, and is classified as the grain basket. Some are contemplating planting short-season crops to fill up gaps on bare portions of their farms, where maize seeds planted from March failed to sprout. Masikandie, KTN, Uasin Gishu County.
All the best to the farmers. Now, 2 governors, Martin Wambora and Evans Kidero, have lost their seats. The former with almost no chance of a comeback. And on the big question we are asking you, do you think the position of governors in the new constitution is under threat? And Christopher Kiro says what is under threat is mediocrity and underperformance. Governors who are working are safe.
At Atonya Stanley says the office of the governor has been turned into a devolution laboratory where Senate and MCS do experiments.
So Peter Ngugi says no, you can guess other governors will do their best for the counties not to lose their place.
Ben Abuga says the constitution has only promoted transparency in our county operations. Governors, be warned, those are your opinions. Let us know what you think about the ouster of the 2 governors. You can tweet us at Ben Kitili, at Linda Ogutu, at KTN Kenya. You can also send a short message to the number 22155. We'll be sampling some of your views during this bulletin.
For now, we take a quick break, but don't go too far. This is KTN Prime.
Pain of parents, fresh hunt for captors of missing Nigerian girls.
Tumezaliwa Kenya, tumelelewa Kenya, tumezaa Kenya. Tangu mwau sisi alikuwa tuko hapa Kenya, alikuwa Uingereza ndio alikuwa na hukumu. Mpaka leo tunakaa hapa, watoto tumezaa hapa, wajukuu wamezaliwa hapa. Bwana polisi ya Kenya wanatutezea hivi, wanatuuliwa wa vijana. Vijana hakuna hatua, sio mwizi, ametoka msikiti.
So tonight, Martin Wambora and Evans Kidero have been shown the door. Let's have this conversation. Your hashtag is Governors Day Out. Let's know what you think about this. But for now, let's cross borders all the way to the International Criminal Court.
Yes, and Deputy President William Ruto is traveling back to the International Criminal Court at The Hague tonight, as his case is set to resume tomorrow. Edith Kimani is following that story for us, and as he tells us, 3 prosecution witnesses are expected to take the stand.
3 crucial witnesses are expected to appear at this court Wednesday when the International Criminal Court resumes its hearings in the case against Deputy President William Ruto and journalist Joshua Arap Sang.
L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte.
Good afternoon, everyone. Witnesses 452, 25 and 405 are expected to testify against both of the accused in the ongoing case at The Hague. The Deputy President will be making a 5-day appearance at the court following a hiatus from the proceedings where he has been enjoying excusal from physically appearing in trial. However, since the court is resuming after an Easter holiday recess, Ruto must be in attendance.
All rise, veuillez vous lever.
The resumption of the case will also see Trial Chamber 5A judges make a ruling on whether or not one of the witnesses will present their testimony. Prosecution had requested for an extension of time to respond to an appeal made by Ruto's team on whether the prosecution witness could testify or not. Ruto's trial resumes after the ICC demanded that Kenya present 8 witnesses who had pulled out of testifying from both Ruto's and President Uhuru's cases. The court said the 8 had crucial evidence that could potentially determine the outcome of the cases. Edith Kimani, KTN.
Let's get closer home to a story that has the attention of the entire world. The Nigerian government says it is now ready to hold talks with Islamist militants Boko Haram to negotiate for the release of over 200 abducted schoolgirls. This follows the release of a video by the militant group showing some of the girls reciting Quranic verses.
The video released Monday by Nigeria's militant group Boko Haram is among the main clues in the search and rescue efforts to free over 200 girls abducted by the group. Both Abuja and Washington have now confirmed that the video is indeed valid.
Government is reviewing the content of the video and the accompanying statement issued by the sect.
We have seen the video. We have no reason to question its authenticity. Our intelligence experts are combing through every detail of the video for clues that might help in ongoing efforts to secure the release of the girls, obviously.
The latest video shows the girls clad in black and grey full-length buibuis sitting on a scrubland near trees. At some points, individual girls dispassionately spoke into the camera, pronouncing their conversion to Islam. Boko Haram's leader, Abubakar Shekau, also made an appearance in the video, offering an exchange of the girls for his men imprisoned by the Nigerian government.
The government of Nigeria will continue to explore all options for the release and safe return of our girls back to their respective homes.
Nigeria is in the lead. We are simply supporting their efforts. As you know, also our policy is to deny the United States policy, I should say, is to deny kidnappers the benefits of their criminal acts, including ransoms or concessions.
A total of 276 girls were abducted on April 14th from Chibok village, with police confirming that 223 are still missing. Ashimwelu, KTN, Nairobi.
The world is definitely hoping that this story will have a happy ending to it. Now, one person was killed and another one injured in a shootout at Nairobi's Mukuru Kwanjenga area. This followed what is said to have been a swoop on illegal pay TV connections.
The residents held a protest march saying the two were shot by police officers in plain clothes. KTN's Habiba Ali with the details.
An angry mob at Mukuru Kwanjenga slums stopped Villa police station, demanding answers following the death of 21-year-old Ali Nur, a Form 3 student. Residents allege 2 plainclothes police officers arrived in a vehicle with government of Kenya number plates. They were allegedly accompanied by officials from paid TV companies. The officers were said to be searching for illegal connections. Residents, however, claim that the officers cornered the late Ali Nur and asked for a 50,000 shilling bribe.
Tukampatia 20,000 cash. Akakataa. Kwa sababu ya nini zile madekoda ya DSTV. Jamaa akatoa bunduki bila sababu yote. Badala sasa kusua watu juu, alipiga kijana direct.
Tumelelewa Kenya. Tumezaa Kenya. Tangu mwau sisi alikuwa tuko hapa. Kenya alikuwa Uingereza ndio alikuwa na hukumu. Baka leo tunakaa hapa, watoto tumezaa hapa, wajukuu wamezaliwa hapa. Bwana polisi ya Kenya wanatutezea hivi, wanatuuliwa kiti wa vijana. Vijana hakuna hatua. Sio mwizi. Ametoka msikiti.
It was then that an argument allegedly broke out, leading to the shooting of the victim. He was shot on the chest and died on arrival at the hospital. The second man was also shot on the left arm. The area OCPD confirmed the incident,
whereby somebody somewhere within this area decided to put illegal distribution of DSTV and Zuku. So when the officers went there, they found the implements and truly they were connected illegally. Then from there, they found some implements which they loaded into the vehicle. So on their way out, they were confronted by members of the public. So fracas started there.
Police said investigation into the incidents are underway. Habiba Ali, KTN Prime.
You're watching KTN Prime. Thank you for staying with us. So tonight, 2 governors have been sent home. That is forming the basis of a big question tonight. We are asking, do you think the position of governors in the new constitution is now under threat?
And Dr. Kakai on Twitter says, yes and no. The MCAs are schemers of looters. For Kidero, you do not bite the hand feeds you.
Michael Luceno says, no, what is under threat is our counties due to underperformance and corruption.
And Francis Islander says, arguably Kidero is ineffective. You might as well pave the way for someone who's willing to do the job.
You're watching KTN Prime. Just before we get to the business news, allow me to correct something on a story that we had earlier on in the interest of accuracy. That story on the directive that was given by Inspector General Kimayo on tinted cars. I'm made to understand that directive is only applicable to public service vehicles. So if you have your personal car and it's tinted, rest easy. You can still drive it tomorrow. There was a lot of concern about that story. You can now rest easy. That directive, once again, just applies to public service vehicles. If you have your personal car, you're good to go. Don't worry. Let's now look at the day's business news. And fresh from posting a 23 billion shilling profit after tax in its full-year report, listed Telkom Safaricom Limited continued with its rally at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Charles Gitonga has more.
As the most profitable company in East Africa, Safaricom share price has more than doubled since 2008 when it was listed at 5 shillings. This year alone, the share has rallied over 20% to close at 12 shillings and 85 cents in today's trading.
Over the last 12 months, the stock is up 80%. This year alone, we are up over 20%, around 20%. So we've had a very good run on this stock. I think we're probably approaching a point where now we're probably going to see a bit of stability.
Having touched a high of 13 shillings and 10 cents. The strong growth in earnings, analysts say, is expected to propel activity around the stock going forward, though at the moment, the current investors might lock in their gains by holding on to their shares. Foreign investors are also expected to maintain the lion's share in trading going forward.
Whenever a company announces its results, what usually happens is we get to see some investors exiting the stock just to lock in their gains.
Going forward, we are really looking at Safaricom more as a dividend stock as it starts to mature.
The stock, analysts believe, is slightly overvalued, fixing its fair value at 12 shillings and 50 cents, which is 2.8% below its closing price in today's trading.
For us, we have a valuation of 12 shillings 50, slightly lower than the current share price. But so we've maintained a hold recommendation. We downgraded it from a buy recommendation.
The mobile money platform M-Pesa, coupled with other non-voice services, are seen as the future of Safaricom's growth, though competition from other service providers seem to escalate by the day. Charles Gitonga, KTN Business.
Now, sugarcane farming has over the years lost its stature, and with that, farmers are seeking other alternatives. Our Western Kenya reporter Francis Ontomwa has the details.
With earnings from sugarcane farming heading south, the farmers under a community-based group called Sidiho are now engaging in vegetable and fruit farming as alternatives. The project, championed by Mumia Sugar Company, is targeting about 150 farmers in the region to cut down dependency on sugarcane farming.
Tuwe na chakula kwa nyumba, tukiongeza, tukingojea pesa ya miwa, lakini tuwe na pesa nyingine ambayo tuna mapato kidogo kutoka kwa kilimo kama nyanya ya after 3 months.
Sugarcane takes between 12 to 18 months to mature, and farmers will now have alternative sources of income to boost their livelihoods.
Miwa ilikuwa namaliza hata miaka 3 kwa shamba. Ukaona hii miwa inamaliza wakati.
Area Member of Parliament has also urged the group to seek other financing options like Uwezo Fund and the Constituency Development Fund to grow their crop productions.
Come and apply for Uwezo Fund. When you look at my kit, I have got a 19.3 million in my constituency. I'm looking at these groups with a lot of anxiety. Let them come, I'll give them money. I'm on the ground so that I get the feel of exactly what is this group that's going to get the money. This money is public money.
The sugar miller says it has so far invested 4.5 million shillings in the program that also includes dairy farming. It maintains that sugarcane farming still remains its core business.
Some farmers say they can do horticulture, for example. Anything which can give farmers money in the pocket. So long as it is complementary. It is complementary. We do not want farmers to leave cane farming.
Francis Otomwa, KTN Business Today.
Now, the supercomputer known as the mainframe has been in Kenya for over 50 years, but has not been utilized effectively to bring about change and prosperity to the country. But now, the latest one from IBM could be the key to getting Kenya out of its data rut. Adai Changole explains.
Access to government records in Kenya is a nightmare, from lost files to misplaced directories to long delays. The list of ordeals is endless. This has been due to the archaic, disorganized and disjointed manner that records are made and stored. This is more evident in the ongoing cleanup of the Lands Ministry. But a new technology could be the solution to this. This is the new IBM Linux and Cloud mainframe, also known as System Z, said to be the fastest computer in the world. The supercomputer, which cost between 24 and 100 million shillings, has been designed to support the most critical applications of a business, with the ability to handle high volumes of transactions with very fast response times.
5.5 gigahertz, this is the fastest computer in the world. All right, this technology is the fastest computer in the world.
And because the information contained in the system usually requires the highest degrees of security and availability, the mainframe has been built to be up and running with the most minimal of outages and is impervious to hacking.
Yeah, secured data, completely blocked off from everything else, unable to break into it, and many of our clients do that.
The system also combines hardware with storage and cloud management and runs at about half the cost of other mainframes. In addition, its compact size allows it to occupy significantly less space, a fact that allows users to reduce operating costs and make savings.
It can reduce their transactional costs. It can help them to serve their customers much faster, much more efficiently.
But apart from government, banks and telcos can also take advantage of the system, which can even carry out data analytics to analyze market trends and spur innovation.
Is becoming a more and more important aspect to payment transactions, but also to actually securing systems and individual transactions. Right?
Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
Let's now look at other business stories that made headlines today with Philip Keitani.
The government is in the final stages of securing a private investor to take over the beleaguered pan paper mills. According to Industrialization Cabinet Secretary Hadan Mohammed, this will see the factory once again get its groove back as part of government's effort to revitalize Kenyan industries. Elsewhere, the government is hopeful that the new approach to regional trade and signing of treaties will foster positive economic growth on the country. This according to Foreign Affairs Director of Economic Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Nelson Dirangu. He was speaking on the sidelines of a 3-day World Trade Organization workshop on trade facilitation in Nyeri. Finally, avocado farmers from Murang'a County are headed for better days and increased income following a plan by the county government to engage them in contract farming. The farmers who have for decades relied on brokers to sell their products now have the opportunity to deal directly with the marketers. The county government have invited several marketers to contract the avocado farmers. Philip Keitan, KTN Business.
Let's now crunch the numbers with the financial markets review.
KTN Business in association with
Safaricom, Lipa na M-Pesa.
Shop 500 shillings at any Uchumi outlet. Pay via Lipa na M-Pesa. Win 1 of 4 raffles.
And that was business. Now, let's take a look at our top story tonight. Now, the nullification of the election of Martin Ombora as well as Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero. The Court of Appeal today put aside the ruling of the High Court, which had upheld Kidero's election last September by a majority of 2-1. The Court of Appeal, the judges decided that Waitito did not get a fair ruling at the High Court. They specifically pointed out that the returning officers in Nairobi were not cross-examined and the votes were not scrutinized. And that is the basis of our conversation tonight. Keep the texts and tweets coming. The hashtag is Governors Day Out. Time now to change tack and go to sports. Over to our sports studio where Nicholas Mudimba is standing by. And Nick, Divo Korigi, the son of former Harambee Star striker Mike Okoth, is one of the hottest football properties in the world at the moment, and he has chosen to play for Belgium. He has been chosen to be in the 23-man squad that is headed to Brazil. We have lost out as Kenya, haven't we?
Big time, because he's been the first Kenyan actually to play in a World Cup match, and of course the likes of Adela Mrushe will have not to think twice, who will partner with Oliech in the striking force. All that after a short break then. Time for the day's sports. I am Nicholas Mudimba. Over the years, Kenya has not fully embraced diversity in sports, choosing instead to send track specialists, boxers and swimming to the multi-event championship. That's why countries like China and the US win over 100 medals on the Olympic Games, when the highly ranked African countries bags only 10 medals. The National Judo Coordinating Board is focusing on building lasting structures for the sport and will for the first time be sending a team for the African Youth Championships in Botswana.
Despite judo's inclusion into the Olympic Games at the 1964 edition in Tokyo, the sports success story in Africa is still nothing to write home about. Kenya too has continued to stick to her traditional events, being athletics, boxing and most recently swimming, as her medal hunting grounds at the Commonwealth Games and Olympics. The National Judo Coordinating Board is however keen on using the Africa Youth Games in Botswana to draw attention to the sport that is yet to be embraced by most Kenyans. A team of 4 that has been in residential training camp at the General Service Unit in Embakasi will represent Kenya in Gaborone starting on the 22nd of this month.
Jana train kabisa na wameiva. Kwa hivyo ni dhahabu tu na promise watu wa Kenya.
The more we train more youths, the more we train more people, the more I know we will be able to get more medals, mostly in the Olympics.
Judo is a Japanese name for gentleness, but the sport in Kenya is not receiving deserved support from sponsors who have chosen to take a wait-and-see approach. Many associate it with violence, although judo athletes disagree.
Most women do practice judo, mostly for self-defense, and judo has its etiquette.
It's not physical because the Japanese are not that strong than Africans, so it's just mentally game. It's not a physical game that much.
The sport also faces identity crisis among Kenyans. Many can't draw a line between judo, karate and taekwondo. The results by this team in Gaborone may just be a turning point to better things for the sport. Lynn Washira, KTN Sports.
Right, we're almost done. Let's look at a big question tonight. We had asked you if you think the position of governors under the new constitution is under threat. Let us see what some of you are writing in to say. Svet says not quite. Chapter 6, if implemented fully, will do away with the rotten eggs.
And Patrick Simpson says not only the position of governors that is under threat, but also the county governments.
Let me see. Wycliffe Mashora says the watch on governors' work is promoting good governance and integrity.
West Villageable says only Kenyan constitution seems to be offering leeway for a governor with misconduct for second impeachment. And another one here from Governor Kivuda Kibwana, the governor of the county of Makueni, says not at all. Resist devolution, invite revolution.
Those are your opinions. We thank you for writing in. Let's do this all over again tomorrow. I'm Linda Ogutu. Good night.
My name is Ben Kitili. Good night from the Standard Atlantic.